Good morning, good morning, good morning.
2, 1, live. Cool.
Welcome back, Fun Fam. And if you're brand new to the channel, welcome in to follow Bradley's Fun Daily Dish. I'm Ronnie Bradley. Hopefully, wherever you are, you're having a phenomenal day. Speaking of the day, as of this morning, it's the 3rd day of October, 2024. I had a little technical glitch happen right there after the show started running. And of course, there's more people in here today. So yesterday we had a perfect stream and there was far fewer people that ended up joining. So of course, when more people come in, that's when we're going to have all the technical glitches and issues. And where am I at? So welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Ain't that the case? James Dosher says, as always. Yes, it is. So the backdrop this morning is beautiful Orlando, Florida. It's really weird. When I use my cell phone as a webcam, I can't do this. Exactly. Can't put the green screen on. So my picture, I feel like it's not as clear, but I'm working on. I haven't chosen. I think I'm going to upgrade laptops, but I haven't found. If I'm going to upgrade, I obviously want to make sure that I choose something that's definitely going to work for what I'm doing here. So I haven't made that choice yet, but I'm working on looking into what new equipment I'm going to be using. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Welcome in everybody. Izzo, we will get to that in just a moment. First of all, let's welcome everybody in because I saw Little Mouse come into the house first thing this morning. So welcome in, Little Mouse 27, and Izzo's place is here before I started for a change, which means that intro ran much longer than it should have because it glitched out on me. What was that, like a minute 30 left of the intro and then it glitched out? Hopefully I was not on camera any of those times. Let me check the stream and make sure that I wasn't. Yeah, there it was. It stuck at 131 forever. And then, yeah, that was so weird. That was so strange. But here we are. We're back on track, and that's good. And Izzo was here before we ever started and says hi to Little Mouse, and then me starting to say hi to everybody. Howdy. Hello. That's funny. That little bit of shaking is not. That's when my hands are on the laptop and the laptop camera is the one I'm using. It's kind of funny. Oh, goodness gracious me. And Native Hawaiian is in the house. Native Hawaiian, we almost talked. Today's show almost. I decided to change the theme of today's show, the point of today's show, the story of today's show. Last minute, very, very last minute, when I saw this stuff about Rachel Zegler and Snow White. And so that was, It almost was about the Polynesian, which would have involved you a lot more. And Izzo's Place says hello. I see Tom F says good morning all, good morning all, good morning all. And Nita Siebold Salt is in the house. Good morning, Nita. Good to see you here as always. Izzo's Place says that he just realized when I go to the parks, there's more IP in the parks because it's Izzo's Place. Everybody hates me. That's okay. That is not what that IP stands for. Snow job. Excellent play on words. Yeah, well, it is a snow job. Because they're lying to us. They are lying to us. There is no version of the story that ever existed anywhere, according to what I'm going to tell you in this story about why they are not changing the name Snow White, but somehow changing what it means. By the way, spoiler alert, the Brothers Grimm actually meant it to be that her skin was white as snow. And there's other things I'm going to go into about her ruby red lips and her black hair. It's a very interesting origin to the story of Snow White from the Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Yes, Ron is the creator and a member. Mind blown. I know that's it's kind of weird how that ended up happening. It's kind of sad how this movie is so unsnow-like. Disney can't help attacking every bit of sweetness of the original Disney. I know it's so we shouldn't say Disney. We should say Iger. We should say Stories Matter Group. We should say DEI. We should say BlackRock. BlackRock, who you know, I'm going to use a religious analogy real quick, but it's kind of like that holy person that you really looked up to, and you saw them as really holy, and then the adversarial component of religion gets a hold of that person, changes them, and then they're no good. And it's really sad to see a downfall like that. Hanging with Erica and Raph is in the house. Erica, good morning. I hope you are having a decent morning, afternoon, I guess, over there in Germany, but I know that you kind of operate to where this is still your morning. So James Dosher says, good morning, extended family. And this is important because Nita definitely has some insight here. When I was a teenager, early 20s, I played snow at Disneyland. They were absolutely drilled about never doing anything unwholesome behavior or talking practically within 50 feet of our costume. Have the standards change? Quick story, unrelated but related, is that outside of Disney yesterday, I saw a lady. She had her Disney name tag still on, clearly not in a regular park costume, just street clothes, if you will. Had a name tag on. I addressed this person, and the person, and of course there are 80,000, 70,000, something like that, Disney employees here. So you see them in the stores. You see them sometimes they accidentally leave their name tag on, but even this person admitted that Disney is not the same company, even though they work for the company now. And I'm not revealing any identities here, but they admitted full well that the company is not the same to work for as it used to be, that the standards are not there anymore. As a person who has to deal with other cast members and perhaps direct those other cast members, I think it's hard for this person to do their job anymore. They're making it difficult. So let's go to the starred comment. Izzo's Place. Member for 3 months. Izzo's Place says, I need to dance, deploy the celebration. One thing that might actually work is the celebration. Let me check my volume. I think I'm okay. That is, I can hear myself fine. All right, that's good. See, this device right here is normally the one. Oh, look, I've got a green cover on it, so it completely disappears, right? Anyway, same thing with the back of this. This is green too. Does this disappear? It kind of does. Look at that. Look at that. What's this? Woo! Magic. Oh, green screens are fun, aren't they? Anyhow, every time we have somebody drop a super or a PayPal or a gifted membership or becomes a member during the show, we love to celebrate because it's our job here to celebrate you out there. Thank you so much for allowing us to do what we love to do, which is share this information with you, get out to the parks, share information about the parks, keep it real, keep it honest when it comes to the parks. I do have a magic phone. Oh, look, baby. There's my beautiful wife is in the chat. And again, Izzo's Place special super chat member for 3 months. It is time to deploy the celebration. So whenever we have the supers and the members and all that stuff build up, we love to celebrate. And this is how we thank you with our celebration together. Let's do it.
Too much?
Too much? It's perfect! Wahoo!
Oh, this is so nice. Give me a break. I couldn't be more excited. Okay, this anticipation is making me mental. But if they say yes, you can be on the show. I think I would go so crazy.
It just seems to me that he would be a pretty decent guy, I must say. Are we back? We're back. Interesting. And so find out how this show goes. Can you hear me all? Te amo! Te amo, sobrina mia Fabi. Is Fabi watching? Hola, Fabi, watching from Colorado. Let's see here. So, if you're wondering about my backdrop this morning, that is the city beautiful, the city of Orlando, Florida. And if I ever get this camera situation, I don't know, but just in case, if I ever get this camera situation worked out, I can make this whole backdrop thing actually look really, really nice. So better than it does right now. I feel a little bit washed out. It was funny because there were some settings. I was on a Zoom meeting the other day, and the Zoom meeting settings were actually better than the StreamYard settings for making me look not so washed out. As a matter of fact, the Snow White today appears to be my face. I am Snow White more than I want to be, that's for sure. But as I believe we've said hello to everybody and had our first celebration, let's see if it's possible for us to jump into the story. And we are going to try to get this on the screen with the hope that it works. I've got a couple of stories about, it's, and that's the thing. There's a way with Zoom. When I did this the other day, I was able to change the way that, like, if I do this right here, the lighting almost seems okay. Weird, right? I can't really change that lighting. If I drop that lighting, I'm going to look way too dark. But yeah, it's strange. And that lighting is perfectly fine when I use my phone as a webcam, but it's my phone using as a webcam that makes the show makes me look like Max Headroom. So, and plus I can't use the cool green screen effect that I'm using now when I'm doing that. Anyway, but let's see if I can get this story on the screen without crashing the tab again. That would be really, really nice, StreamYard, if you somehow would not crash my browser. That would be awesome. Let's see. The one I am wanting to add first is this one. So I don't want to share tab audio because there's no reason for me to share tab audio. But I'm going to add this to the stage with the hope that it works. There it is. All right. Max Headroom showing both of our ages here. I like the new brightness, but there's a huge hit. I know. It's like right here. Boom. That's why if I do this, if I had a blockage right here, the lighting would almost be perfect. But there's, I don't know how, like, I don't know. I can't do that with my hand the whole time. That's for sure. Look at that. But yeah, we'll work it out. We'll work it out eventually. This whole thing, it's it has a lot to do with the fact that originally this wasn't even the plan for this channel, was to be a vlog channel only, and it has we do vlogs, certainly still do vlogs. Good morning to the Sue from the Bud Files, and Blessed to Crochet is also in the house. If I can put that up there. But yeah, so we're talking about Snow White, and this article is out of Bounding into Comics. We know that a new and updated version of Disney's classic and the Brothers Grimm classic fairy tale Snow White is coming. Now, this is very different. She does not have black hair. I say oddly because there's no reason she couldn't have black hair. But the original, we're going to talk about a little bit about the name. This article's out of Bounding into Comics. This is a little bit about what Rachel says. And I was reading up on this morning, and this is very interesting, and I might reiterate this throughout the show a little bit, but the original name Snow White in the Brothers Grimm fairy tale was written in 1812, but it takes place in the 1500s because it's a fairy tale about a different time and a different place. Isn't that how they always start? Once upon a time. So that once upon a time is typically taking you back a lot of years, a different time, different place, different culture, everything, right? But the idea for a fairy tale is that it has some timeless, classic types of story elements in it. Boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl, girl falls in love with boy. Typical romantic fairy tale. A jealous adversary in there somewhere that wants, that if she can't have happiness, then nobody can have happiness. That's the basic gist of the Snow White story. Now, in the original Brothers Grimm fairy tale, they chose to name the mom chose to name Snow White what she did because she takes place in Germany. Okay, it's in the winter time. A lot of snow is on the ground. She's looking at this beautiful white snow, and she's looking out the window, and she's got her hands on the little window ledge, and the window ledge is like cobalt black, like completely jet black, right? And then she cuts herself on something, and the 3 drops of blood fall onto the snow, and it's like this kind of ruby red blood. So she sees these colors: the snow white, this ruby red, and this black. And when her baby is born, her baby happens to reminds her of this situation. She sees snow white skin on the cheeks, ruby red lips, and jet black hair when the baby's born. So seeing the jet black hair and the ruby red lips and the snow white skin, she decides to name her Snow White. And all of those elements are in the very look of Snow White. She's supposed to have white skin, black hair, ruby red lips. It's just the way it is. And by the way, that's pretty darn straightforward, you know. Uh, well, but Rachel Zegler had some things to say about that. And this is out of Bounding into Comics by my buddy Spencer Bakuli. All right. And it says Disney's live action Snow White star Rachel Zegler claims her criticisms of the animated original were intentionally misinterpreted. I've watched women get torn down my whole life, she says. According to the star of the upcoming live action remake, Rachel Zegler, not only did critics intentionally misinterpret her previous criticisms of Disney's original animated Snow White, but they also did so due to their own inherent misogyny. Snow White, Adriana Castellotti attempts to flee from the huntsman, Stuart Buchanan, in Snow White, and the Seven Dwarfs original 1937 classic, without which we wouldn't have a Disney company today, by the way. That's important. And as readers may recall, asked by Extra's Katie Krause during the 2022 D23 Expo, I know you told me before that your version of Snow White is different and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that? In turn, Zegler explained the original cartoon came out in 1937 and very evidently so. By the way, that is exactly how she said that. Very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with the guy who literally fucks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time. We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap. Great dude, continued the actress. It's one of those things I think everybody's going to have their assumptions about what's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. Well, now 2025, of course. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. Yeah, that's the I don't see how you can misinterpret that because I mean you could. It's possible she meant something else, but the way she came across looked to me as if she was communicating a great disdain for the original. Providing even more information as to her adaptation's direction during an August 2023 with Variety, Zegler further detailed the reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. And the reality is, Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own power before she can come into power over a kingdom, she added. So, yeah, that's kind of all I'm going to go into about that initial interview. That story that, hey, Going Shogi is here. What's up? Going Shogi is in the chat. Well, Going Shogi came in. Just for that, I'm going to do a...
Is it too much? Too much? It's perfect! Wahoo!
This is just the best of my scene. I'll be honest with you, Going Shogi. I wouldn't be surprised if at this point in time they actually added more Andrew to the story, to the appeasement of fans to some degree, because Tom F said that there. She has quite the attitude on her now. Obviously, her story has been changed and tempered a lot in the last 2 years because there's a lot of backlash. Lots of backlash, as we know. I didn't read the article yet from Variety, but saw the Video Pro and Lorena did. I was not feeling well yesterday. There's a lot of things going on. So I was supposed to do 2 videos with Pro yesterday, and I had to decline on both of them. So very, very sorry if WDW Pro happens to see this morning. I definitely apologize. I wish I was in perfect mental and physical and emotional health, but I am not all the time. I try to show up for this as much as I possibly can. But if I'm being completely honest, life ain't always that easy. Sometimes it's just a snow job. Oh gosh. So now what we're going to talk about is the whole name of Snow White. And um, this article is going to be out of Inside the Magic, but there are lots of articles out there about this and them attempting to change the meaning. Uh, they're particularly going away from. Now, here's the thing. By the way, I wanted to say this before. Rachel says that the 1937 movie is dated. The 1937 movie is about a story of fiction that takes place in the 1500s. Rachel Zegler. That movie is not dated because the movie takes place in the 1500s. The story takes place in the 1500s. Rachel somehow, as an actress, doesn't seem to get that. When you're telling a classic story, a classic fairy tale, you don't update that story because times have changed. As a matter of fact, it's exactly the opposite. When you tell a fairy tale, a classic story, you keep it in its original time frame specifically because the moral of the tale, the story, it has timeless themes that are about good and evil for everybody of every age, and it doesn't matter in what time period that took place. You do not update that story for a quote unquote modern audience. That's the dumbest thing in the world I've ever heard from anybody. You want to tell a modern story, then you set it in the year 2024, 2025. That's how you tell a modern story. You want to tell a modern version of Snow White, then you set it in modern times. As a matter of fact, there was a television show on that did exactly that for a while. And actually, the curse of Snow White was that they moved Snow White to modern times. I'm not even talking about the more recent Disney Happily Ever After, whatever that series was. Um, what was that series that was recently on the Disney? But you go back like 20 or 25 years, and there was a television show on where the Snow White characters lived in modern times, and that was like the late 1990s. That's how you tell that story. But if you're just retelling, if you're just making a live action version of the, yeah, Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time was the more original. Um, okay, Once Upon a Time, Rover Boy says that's the one from a decade ago. But I just remembered the name of the one that I'm talking about going back to the 1990s. It's called The Charmings. I don't know if anybody remembers The Charmings, but it was a thing. And it actually told uh, I like this. It's so easy to update for a modern audience. Update the original into 4K and re-release it in the theaters. That's how you modernize a film. Perfect. That is perfect. I love that answer. Yeah, you just make the technology better. Um, that would be great. So let's see if we can add this. Rachel Zegler removes Walt's origin behind Snow White's name, igniting new controversial woke wave. Is it woke? Is it unwave that they're changing the name and taking it away from the roots of how a German person like myself looks? Is I am German, I am European. It's kind of an insult to my heritage. And apparently, Disney doesn't care. They care very much if they insult other people's heritages, but besides mine. But if they insult my heritage, they don't give a rat's patootie about that. It's okay to insult all of us Caucasian people out here. All of us. Why? I don't know. But like I've said before, in today's modern world, it is more difficult to be a straight white male than just about anything else. And here I am. I'm just dealing with it. I'm just living in it, taking it as it comes along. Rachel Zegler, and this is again, this is out of let's see, Inside the Magic, posted on October 2nd by Alicia Dunn. Rachel Zegler is stirring the pot again by admitting another plot change in the live-action Snow White that will be different compared to the animated, classic, wonderful, original version that kicked off the Walt Disney Company's foray into the movie business. That's not in there. I'm adding that part to the story because it's true, which is the origin behind the name Snow White. So, as I went over earlier in this video, the origin of the name Snow White came from the fact that her skin is white as snow. It's literally written in the original Grimm's fairy tale. Snow White because her skin is white as snow. The Hollywood Handle shared Rachel Zegler reveals that instead of skin as white as snow, Snow White live action will feature a new origin story for the princess's name. And by the way, I've researched this. This is actually the quote is going to be a lie. It fell back to another version, not really in history, where she survived a snowstorm that occurred when she was a baby. And so the king and queen decided to name her Snow White to remind her of her resilience. Because somehow a baby being born during a snowstorm is resilient. Yes. So Enchanted was the name of that Amy Adams movie. And Nita says, I wonder if anyone involved in the movie have ever read the original Grimm fairy tale. Grimm, it was very grim, and boy, did a villain get it big time in the modern. In the end, modern day. And there have been a ton of versions of Snow White. This is why I kind of don't really love the idea of them changing the live action Disney Snow White at all, is because there are so many other live action versions of Snow White out there that already do and kind of have done what they're talking about in this Snow White. Too bad they didn't name her Baby Blizzard. That's exactly what they should have named her, Baby Blizzard. I love that. That's hilarious. They're gonna have to train her in the snow like Rocky IV to beat the evil queen. Oh, I would love that. When he was in Russia and he trains in the snow, they could do a whole montage. Disney, here's we're giving you some instruction for some research shoots. You got to go to Russia and do some reshoots, a montage of Snow White training, grabbing a trunk of a tree over her shoulder and dragging it up a hill. By the way, that was the music. I don't know why I know the music to that montage, but I do. I actually know why I know the music to that montage. There's a reason for it. While Snow White's name derives from her face being white as snow in Walt Disney's 1937 film, and that's Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. And of course, that is the original meaning written in the original story by the Brothers Grimm, with Zegler being half. This doesn't say she's half Latina, but she is half Latina. She's actually half Polish, by the way. Now, why didn't they go with the half Polish part? I don't know, but they say being Latina, she's actually half Latina. They said that would not work for her rendition of Snow White, which I totally disagree, by the way, because, a little baby powder goes a long way if you want to use it. I'm just saying. Considering, and by the way, so does a white light washing your face out like it is mine right now. Considering Disney fans have had issues with the animated princess being played by actors of another race since Halle Bailey was cast as Black Ariel in The Little Mermaid, while not justified, the anger by some was predictable. I don't like, okay, here's the thing. Not justified. Why is it not justified? If character integrity, which they preach when you go to work in a park, okay, this is a quote, a Disney quote, character integrity. Nita, you can verify that in the chat. Character integrity. That's huge at Disney. It's so huge that you don't say that you play a Disney princess when you're outside of work. You say you are friends with a Disney princess. You don't say I played Snow White. You say I was friends with Snow White. Okay, you can't pass, it don't matter anymore. But point is, character integrity is supposed to be essential to the Disney process, meaning everything about the way that character was created for the original film needs to be portrayed. Ariel has light skin and red hair. She's supposed to be a light skin with red hair person for her character integrity. It's integral to who she is as a person. Do you think that they would change Tiana to a white chick? No, because of character integrity. But they're not going to call it that. That's what's so troublesome about this. It's really, it's incredibly problematic and actually more racist, if you will, that they are changing a character given a certain race to swap it with a different race. That's far more racist than the opposite. Okay, and understanding of what actual problematic stuff is, that's what bothers me so much. But these are the same people that will take and in their movies and putting inappropriate adult situations, bedroom type situations into those movies and that ideology and stuff. These people think that's okay. It's just such a weird way of thinking. It's very much not a correct way of thinking when it comes to the general principles, like 10 commandment type principles of right and wrong, right? That we've had throughout history. And what makes right and wrong is very simple. Right leads to joy, not always in the moment, but eventually down the road. Wrong leads to pain, not always in the moment, but down the road. And I always say the good example of that is, taking a substance and abusing that substance might make you feel really good in the moment and might lead to some really bad pain down the road. They just don't get it. I think they do get it, but I think they want to justify their wrong beliefs, just like a person who does do substance abuse tries to justify the reasons why they have no choice but to do that. Anyway, Rachel Zegler is poised to become, and by the way, these are all my opinions, just so you know. All right. Rachel Zegler is poised to become an international icon for children. Okay. I don't know who's writing this, but Rachel Zegler is poised to become an international icon for children as she takes on the lead role in Disney live action Snow White. That only happens if people actually go watch this movie. Okay, I don't know how many people are actually going to go watch this movie, so whether she becomes an international icon or not is to be seen. And they kind of made her look a lot like the regular Snow White, so I don't really see that happening. I don't think it's going to be any different than Snow White. They don't. There's no plans to have a live action version of the Snow White in the parks that I know, because basically it doesn't look that different from live action. I've often wondered why Disney doesn't recruit when they're doing these live actions. Why don't they, instead of recruiting a Hollywood actress? I think it'd be a really cool marketing thing for them if they recruited an actress that actually played one of these roles in their parks. But again, supposedly the reason they don't do that is because of character integrity for the park. They're so hypocritical and convoluted in the way they think and they do things. Rachel Zegler is poised to become an international icon. Blah, blah, blah. She takes on the lead role for Disney's live action Snow White, set to hit theaters in March 2025. In many ways, portraying the fairest of them all, signals the close one chapter for Zegler, while her upcoming move to Broadway marks the start of a new one. It's time for me to start thinking about the pivot, she says. I feel ready to be selective with my next project. Yeah, because her past projects have been. It is a really, really young person, and I'm not anymore. I was once, so I get how she thinks. But boy, as a person who was once young and understand how I thought back then, she wrong. For now, Rachel Zegler is fully immersed in her princess era, but it's been met with mixed reactions, yeah, to say the least. Her casting of Snow White in Disney's live-action remake sparked immediate backlash online, with some critics vowing to boycott the film over what they dubbed woke casting. To them, Zegler's Colombian heritage seemed to disqualify her from portraying the iconic princess traditionally depicted with quote-unquote hair black as ebony and skin as white as snow, and also those ruby red lips that we mentioned. But there are reasons for that. There are very important story reasons for that. In Disney's 1937 animated classic, never mind the Snow White or Blancanieves, is just as beloved in Spanish-speaking countries as she is in the U.S. And you know what? She is beloved in Spanish-speaking countries. And you know what? In Spanish-speaking countries, a lot of Latina women have skin as white as snow. Just because you're Latina, yeah, they have skin color that has a very wide range, by the way. So to think that a person of Spanish descent looks a certain way, that's not true either. So that's pretty that is very problematic as well. This is my wife is Latina, my beautiful wife Virginia Bradley. She's in the chat. She knows. I mean, even her relatives have different skin color. It's just honestly, skin color has very, very little to do with your with your heritage, and has a lot more to do with genetics passed down. She is at least a quarter German. So, and who knows what all I am besides German. I know that I'm Irish, I'm French, I have some Native American in me. We're all kind of a melting pot here in the United States, so it doesn't really matter. But but the problem is the word white. Okay. It shouldn't be a problem, because just like black people, brown people, yellow people, red people, white people, it's just a word. It's just general depiction, and too much weight has been given to these color words, but away, then use the word, because then it doesn't have a stigma. He was my mom's favorite princess, Zegler shares. Growing up, there weren't many dark-haired princesses, and that was the one she could relate to. It's no wonder Snow White director Mark Webb knew he wanted Zegler for the role as soon as she auditioned. Webb recalls that his script supervisor wept upon hearing Zegler sing. She has an inherent grace, poise, and goodness that's essential to Snow White, he says. Oh, boy, did he miss the mark on that whole goodness thing. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, my point to this whole thing is, if they're trying to do this to correct, in their belief, correct problematic issues, they're going about it 100% the wrong way, and they're creating more issues. Simple. They could have easily just cast Rachel. She's got skin white as snow, and that's that. How difficult would that be? I'm sure there's plenty of actual Latina women that play Snow White in the parks. It's interesting that beauty is washed away by stupidity. Intelligence is sexy and makes a person beautiful. That is so very true. Yeah. And Going Shogi says, yeah, I'm half Arabic with red hair and blindingly white skin. We come in all shades and shapes. And I know that for a fact. I've seen Shogi. So we certainly do. Like, I don't know. It's so weird. Hanging with Erica and Raph. Erica says, I'm dark haired, and Cinderella and Aurora were my faves, and they were blondes. And growing up as a little kid, I didn't have a favorite princess until Beauty and the Beast came along, and then Belle was my favorite princess. And that's because I just loved the Belle and Gaston dynamic. I mean, fact of the matter is, Gaston and the Beast weren't horrifically different. I have often thought, what if Gaston had been the one to end up saving Belle from the wolves? Could have happened. I think Gaston gets the short end of the stick, because he could have easily said, Belle, I saved you from those wolves, but I promise you owe me nothing. I have changed because this movie's about change. I was the Beast, and I'm not any longer. That would have been really funny if that would have happened. Tom F. My mother's side is all Italian. My dad has German side, so I don't look Italian at all. So really, so they're going to change this whole thing to her being born in a blizzard. Maybe they'll use it to retheme Blizzard Beach, the water park, and put a whole bunch of snow stuff in there. Could she have tamed the beast ego within him? That would be a story to tell as well. I would 100% agree. It would be very interesting. Belle showed a magic mirror to a village that she literally sang a song about how simple they are. What did she expect? That is true. She's like, hey, villagers, I don't really belong with you guys. I'm way better than you. Belle, she needed to be tempered down too. So she could have been tempered down a lot in the live action when they would have been like, Hermione, you can't even sing without auto tune. So who the heck are you? Yeah, that was funny. Let's see. Let's go back to, because I think it's 10:25. I think it's time for a celebration, right? Izzo's Place member for 3 months needs to dance. Deploy the celebration. I haven't seen any new memberships dropped or anything like that, but that's okay, because even if I'm going to tell you, the original Snow White, the original 1937 version of Snow White, it deserves to be celebrated. And you all are the energy that makes me to be able to transform every morning, and just a transformer. So for that, it is time to deploy. I got to go over here to do it. The celebration. Thank you, and let's celebrate, everybody.
Too much? Too much? It's perfect! Wahoo!
Oh, this is too much. Give me a break. I couldn't be more excited. Okay, this anticipation. It's making me mental. But if they say yes to be on the show, I think I will go so crazy.
Yeah, I'm back. And before I go, I just want to mention something. Snow White is, I think it's maybe, and Virginia, if you're in the chat, you can let me know. Isn't that your favorite princess? I feel like the Snow White is my wife's favorite princess, the classic Snow White from the fairy tale. Could be wrong. Let me. I want to check something if I can, because I don't want to ever disparage the original Snow White. Nita's Snow White that she played, uh, or that she was friends with over at Disneyland just a moment ago in the realms of time, even if it was 1980. um, I don't want to disparage that. So there's something that I'm going to look for real quick. And let's see if I can find it. October the 5th, 2022. And this was just about 2 years ago. Wait, was it 2 years ago? No, not exactly 2 years ago today. Let's see here. Let's see if I can show this. Oh, all right. So we went to visit Snow White, and we got very, very lucky. Do you know anything about going to the parks or whatever? Um, Parks, you know that you don't always necessarily get a great princess at each meet and greet. There's Xander, Mama. She's meeting. That is my mother-in-law, my suegra, and she's taking her picture with Snow White. And this was the eve of my wife's birthday, and there she is, my beautiful wife, Virginia Bradley, and she is meeting the classic Snow White. And this particular Snow White, I mean, she was the real deal. And even back then, I thought, man, this is the woman they should have cast to play the role in the movie. It would have been amazing. So there she is meeting her, and I got a couple of really cool photographs out of it. I want to see if I can find those for you guys real quick. Uh, I love this photo. You don't exactly see Snow White's face in this photo, but my wife's face and the way she lights up at hugging Snow White and meeting Snow White. Snow White means a lot to us as a family. Um, and that is one of the reasons why this was so important, even trying to get this reservation. By the way, if you know anything about Disney, this is a really, really difficult reservation to get. Yeah, I love the Snow White decor outside the restaurant. So vibrant. This is, I think it's called Artist Point. This is at the Wilderness Lodge. And um, this is one of the best experiences that Disney still has available is this dinner with Snow White and a few of the dwarfs. You get to meet the evil queen. Um, and, the evil queen could even be an evil queen. But that's beside the point. I think we got this cast member around the same time in a photo op outside Sorcerer Mickey and Magic Kingdom. She was wonderful. My daughter was ecstatic. Great memories, exactly. And that's the thing. You're gonna have great memories when you have the right people playing these roles. Here's another picture. Look at that. That's just I love just how my wife's face just lit up. Yeah, an evil slay queen. I'm trying to see. I think there might be some pictures in here with uh, oh, no. All the I got pictures of the food. Oh, there are pictures of the evil queen. There's our evil queen. Does that come up? Yeah, now you can see it pretty well. Our evil queen was, I think, pretty good evil queen. And there she is. And I think I'm in here somewhere with Snow White. Yeah, here's the that wasn't the best picture. There's me looking all like Gaston right there in that picture. And then there we are. So yeah, we had an amazing experience, and that's why I never want to disparage Snow White as a character. I think Snow White's a phenomenal character. The Seven Dwarfs, how she mothers them, they don't need to update the character. The character, if you watch Snow White, she gets kicked out into the woods, and then she goes and she becomes an instant leader slash mom type figure to these seven dwarfs. They love her, she loves them, she's a leader to them, and she learns how to sacrifice because of her love and her giving and her good nature. And she's already got that built into the character. They don't really need to change the character at all. So it doesn't make any sense that they would want to do that. We're going to see how they end up. As far as this movie is concerned, doesn't come out until I think February or March of next year. I don't know if anybody's going to go see it in the theater. I have no desire to see it in the theater unless I can maybe see it for free and review it. I might get that opportunity. My memories of the Magic Kingdom were old. I traveled down there in the summer of 75, 76 in an unair conditioner. Hey, James, same thing for me, but it was 77. I was 5 at the time. No, was it 77 or 78? I think it was actually 78. I think it was 78. I was 5 at the time, not quite 6. No, 77. 77. I was 5, not quite 6. I'm getting old now, clearly. But it was 1977. The Magic Kingdom was not quite a full 6 years old at the time. I was not quite a full 6 years old. I was 5. But yeah. But it's not that way now, Ron. She has to teach them to clean their own place. I know it just doesn't. It's just sort of ridiculous. But exactly right. Blessed to crochet. Snow White is timeless the way she is, and you guys are also timeless the way you are. And speaking of the time, we have a gifted membership. We have member for 3 months. Go and Shogi dropped the gifty to who did that gifty go to? Jessica Lynn Original Studios was gifted a membership. Jessica Lynn, welcome into membership and follow the Bradley's Fun. And for that, I think that it is worth having. Just before we take off and head out the door, I want to have one more celebration with all of you. So let's dance, everybody. Let's dance on this Thursday morning and let's celebrate.
Is it too much? Too much? It's perfect! Wahoo!
Oh, this is so nice. Give me a break. I couldn't be more excited. Okay, anticipation. It's making me mental. But if they say yes, you can be on the show. I think I would go so crazy. Oh, and forgive me.
Tuber Chat, Connect and Grow. Thank you for sharing this on Reddit, Kevin. I appreciate that. You are the best. Speaking of that, if you're coming in and you have watched this far and you're watching on the replay gang, please click that like button. I didn't even say that this time. I didn't say click the like button, so please click the like button. Share this out on your social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. If you want to become a member, those are available, as you know. Thank you guys so much. Click that notifications bell, because when you click it, you stick it to that YouTube algorithm and you get notified of all of our uploads here. And follow the Bradley's Fun. And also, big shout out to Tuber Chat. If you have a channel, Tom F, I highly recommend to you Tom F, Tuber Chat. And possibly also go and Shogi. Whoever really has channels and you want to grow, please connect with Tuber Chat. You're going to see their lives. Oh, their live streams will help you grow. And they are awesome. Kevin, what he does over there on Tuber Chat is so phenomenal and so amazing and helped me out so much. So huge shout out to Kevin, Tuber Chat, and the whole Tuber Chat gang. Canadian Family Life, Blessed Crochet, I think, is in here from Tuber Chat. Maritza's Yarn and Crafts sometimes come in from Tuber Chat. Just so many. I can't even tell you the number of creators I've met over there through Tuber Chat who have blessed my life in more ways than I can even begin to tell you. So thank you so much for Kevin. And yes, definitely connect with Tuber Chat, hanging with Eric and Raph. They will help you grow. Especially, being over there in Germany. It's a really cool thing. You're going to connect with Canadians and Americans and Germans and people from the UK, a lot of people from the UK over there. It's great. Tuber Chat's awesome. So definitely please go check out Tuber Chat. Thank you guys so much for coming in today. We're going to send you right over to Culture Casino right now. So until next time, we will see you real soon. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Ciao. Bye, everybody. Ciao.